Psaki, building on Jeff's question, I mean, when you have Maxine Waters saying that what these images and this policy harkens back to the slave trade, I mean, you're saying here that you're trying to communicate what the policy is. She and other Democrats who are your allies in other political projects are criticizing that very policy. Isn't this a larger problem, a political problem for the president than just merely communicating what the Title 42 policy is?
It's not just about the Title 42 policy. I think Congresswoman Waters and others, as are we, have been horrified by the photos of the Border Patrol officers and that behavior. And we have taken very specific action in launching an investigation, ending a part of a policy that the Secretary of Homeland Security felt was problematic. There has also been a view that we were handling our immigration policy in a different way than we were handling for other migrants who were coming across the border. That's not true. And so what we've been doing is trying to explain what our policy and our process is and reiterate to everyone that our objective is not to keep the policy as it is, which is broken, which is not workable long term, to work with people who are frustrated to put in place a new immigration policy that is humane, that is orderly, that does have robust asylum processing. But we've also reiterated that it is our objective to continue to implement what is law and what our laws are, and that includes border restrictions. Go ahead.
Jen, in the spirit of explaining policy, can you explain how the administration is determining who gets to come in and get processed under Title VIII and get an NTA and who's getting expelled? On-the-ground reporting suggests that it's based off demographic, not racial demographic, but if you come in as a family, single adult, what have you. How is Border Patrol determining right now who actually gets to stay in and get processed and who gets expelled under Title 42?
Sure. So across the border, including in the Del Rio sector, we continue to enforce Title 42. Families and single adults are typically expelled under this CDC directive when possible. The determination of who can be expelled or not is determined by a number of factors, including the makeup of the specific family unit. Some people with kids who are younger than a certain age are not accepted back in certain countries. We know that from our immigration policy writ large, long before the last couple of weeks. And agreements with the country origin and as well as agreements with the country of origin or last residence. As you know, and as all of you have reported, this is not just a case of everyone coming directly from Haiti. People are coming from different countries, some where they have lived for periods of time. Family units are different, and so each is made on a case-by-case basis. Another determining factor is detention capacity, both within ICE and CPB. And so as we have stated, those who cannot be expelled are placed into removal proceedings and issued a notice to appear, or when capacity issues and processing backlogs arise, they may be processed via an alternate means, which requires them to report to an ICE office to commence the next steps in their immigration proceedings. That's how the process works.
DHS thus far has not given data on, specifically in Del Rio, of those who have been processed under Title VIII and those who have been processed under Title 42. Is there any breakdown that you can provide on that?
I think they did provide yesterday, and I think they're going to be providing regular updates, and certainly this is something that is under their purview, as you noted, that the department has conducted 2 repatriation flights yesterday. I'm just going to give you a little more information than you asked for, but just so everybody has it, with a total of 318 Haitian nationals on board. These flights will continue since Sunday, September 19th. 12 repatriation flights have left the United States. 1,401 Haitian nationals have been returned to Haiti. 3,206 Haitian nationals have been moved from the Del Rio camp to CBP custody or to other sectors of the United States border to either be expelled via Title 42 if possible or placed into removal proceedings. Sometimes it requires a discussion in order to determine the path forward. Then, therefore, there remain less than 5,000 migrants in the Del Rio sector.
And can I ask about police reform as well? Sure. Obviously, reports that those talks are dead. What's the White House strategy now moving forward to try and rein in police departments? And I know that the readout yesterday mentioned working with Democrats both in the House and the Senate, but what's the strategy also for the White House to work with Republicans as well, who did ask for more concessions when it came to these negotiations?
Well, I spoke to this quite a bit yesterday, but I'm happy to speak to it again. Part of our objective is to communicate and work with a range of members, activists, and others who've been involved in pressing for reform, something the president strongly supports. That includes the consideration of executive action, and certainly includes considering whether there is a path forward legislatively. Obviously, we just saw those talks break down just yesterday, so those engagements need to resume, but those are really the next steps in the process. Karen, go ahead.